In March, in honor of International Women's Day, Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, showed up in LA. She was an apparition wearing Max Mara and Valentino, and she supposedly was there to do some good. She made the 4-hour round trip from her Montecito home to support Harvest Home. Now, that's a charity for pregnant women who are homeless. As she was coming out of the hip eatery, the vegan Mexican place Gracias Madre, Meghan was photographed carrying a black and white Chanel calfskin handbag. That is an item which reportedly cost a staggering $11,000, or perhaps even more than that. And the interesting thing about this was not only that she's clearly not worried about revealing their changed financial circumstances since they ran away from royal life, but also that the purse's price tag is almost double that of how much money Meghan and Harry's Archewell Foundation has raised from the public, and that is coming from the most recently available tax filings. Now, earlier this month, Archewell released their IRS documents, and that sheds some light on the finances of the charity that was set up by Meghan and Harry in late 2020. The documents, as reported by the Daily Mail, show that in 2021, when their star power was at its highest, they raised a little over $13 million total, and then they gave out about $3 million to charities. But where things get pretty interesting is when you really break down that $19.5 million figure. Most of that money just came from two very deep-pocketed benefactors. So let's dig a little deeper, shall we? The paperwork from Archewell shows that almost $10 million, or about 75%, came from a single donor. The Mail has reported that there is some speculation that that amount came from Oprah Winfrey in return for Meghan and Harry's shocking 2021 TV interview. And then there was a big $3 million donation from another person, and the Mail has suggested that person might have actually been Prince Harry himself, that he was dipping into the reported $30 million advance that he got for Spare. But it is one of the smallest numbers that is the most fascinating. Archewell only managed to raise about $4,500 from the public. Now, before any of you rush out to start trying to give money to Archewell to keep them going, don't worry. It is still pretty comfortable. Now more than $9 million is in the bank for Archewell. But the question that these documents really bring up is, if we take away what are possibly one-off moments of generosity, maybe from a TV icon and maybe from Harry when he felt wealthy, how exactly are they going to raise any money in the future? So far, Archewell has certainly not attracted any big direct corporate financial support, and it also doesn't seem like people are lining up to give them their hard-earned money. And what that means for Meghan and Harry is that they are facing having to throw themselves into the world of American charity, and they might have to face huge competition in the fight to get donations from the uber-rich. Obviously, Harry and Meghan have an ambitious vision for what it is they want to do with Archewell, but all of that enthusiasm needs some real money behind it if they want to make it a reality. In the next few years, Archewell is going to have to figure out a way to make some serious cash if they want to achieve anywhere close to what Meghan and Harry seem to hope for, and that is going to require them to get on the fundraising treadmill and start running quickly. So what they will be able to do is going to be limited, and it's going to be dictated by exactly how much money they can manage to raise. And that is going to mean that Harry and Meghan need to devote a lot of time to cozying up to every capitalist out there. They need to be making friends with every billion-dollar trust fund holder and every hedge funder. Which means that Meghan and Harry need to get ready for a lot of begging, a lot of sucking up, a lot of picture posing, and eating some less than flavorful food at charity dinners ahead of them. And not only that, but they are facing some real competition, and it is only going to be an uphill battle to keep the millions that they so desperately need coming in. In the US, there are more than 1.5 million charities, and it seems like many celebrities have their very own. And the amounts that both of them pull in and give away, it's pretty astronomical. We are going to need to add a lot of zeros up there. Now, Beyoncé has her own charity, Be Good, which provided almost $9 million in the first few months of the pandemic in 2020, and it did a lot to help with mental health support and community organizations too. Around that same time, Leonardo DiCaprio helped spearhead America's Food Fund, and soon enough, he raised about $18 million thanks to people like Laurene Powell Jobs, Apple, and the Ford Foundation. And then there's the Clooney Foundation for Justice. Now, they have given away millions, including an almost $1.5 million donation by George back in 2017 to help bring more criminals in Africa to justice. And there's also the Jolie Pitt Foundation. It raised about $61.6 million over 10 years, mostly through the sale of their baby and wedding photos. But probably the most impressive in the celebrity charity world is Sir Elton John's charity, his AIDS Foundation. It was started at the height of the epidemic back in the 80s, and it has raised more than $760 million and reportedly saved more than 5 million lives. No wonder he's got so many royal titles. So in the years to come, when the Archwell bank accounts start to dwindle thanks to their good works, Meghan and Harry are going to have to go up against these very impressive charities and about a gazillion other nonprofits that are set up by every star out there. Now, Meghan and Harry, in some ways, do have an ace up their sleeves. They do have their royal status. But in the years since 2021, their star has obviously fallen in the US. They have become very divisive figures, making this job a lot harder. We also need to consider the fact that trading one's proximity to the crown for charity cash is pretty perilous. We only need to look to Harry's father, King Charles, who over the last few years has been revealed to have made some really disgusting decisions all in the name of fundraising. The Times reported that Charles accepted $4.9 million in charitable donations made in cash, and this money was stuffed into bags from a Qatari politician. And then there was more than $1.8 million from one of Osama bin Laden's 40-plus siblings. Late last year, the British police handed over their investigation into an alleged cash for honor scheme involving his Prince's Trust to the Crown Prosecution Service. And then another possible avenue that Harry and Meghan could explore is the big end of town. But so far, there are no signs that any corporations want to give them any money. So let's remember that Meghan and Harry's personal earning potential is far from guaranteed in the years to come. Meghan doesn't have any confirmed projects at the moment, and Harry's only got his Invictus documentary coming. So while they are not going to really be in the poorhouse, they might be about to become acquainted with the slog that you and I are all too familiar with, in terms of actually having to work to pay the bills. So it seems like they themselves are not likely to be able to personally bankroll Archwell. So what is the important takeaway here? Well, Harry and Meghan have not only a very steep and rough road ahead of them in terms of keeping their careers going along, dealing with Harry's seemingly upset family and fighting the approximately 37 lawsuits that Harry has filed, but they've also got to figure out some way to keep Archwell flush. So who knows what they're going to do? Are they going to be on street corners shaking an empty can hoping to get some coins thrown their way? Well, stranger things have happened.